Have you guys seen this stuff? I was going to react to this video. This is coming from Network Chuck. Let's see what he
Hackers
has to
are
say.
taking over their channels, getting full control to add and delete videos, start live streams, and ultimately delete their channel. It honestly has me worried about my channel because this hack is pretty clever. But the hackers made a mistake. They went after one of the best hackers on YouTube, John Hammond, who, while almost falling for the hack himself,
you know, when you swipe down to see your notifications, it looks like real Google.
caught it and reverse engineered it. Take that, hackers. So in this video, we're gonna break down exactly how hackers are taking control of YouTube channels.
So, like, obviously this is a phishing email, and I never click anything anyways. Because I'm lazy. But, yeah.
What you and your favorite YouTubers
Thanks for the follow, Toast Nib. I don't know. I'll call you Tosh 2.0. What's up? Welcome to the Suns on Twitch. How you doing today?
can do to keep your channels safe. I don't have a coffee cup. I'll be right back. This video is a PSA, a warning to all creators. So please share with all your favorite YouTubers, get your coffee ready, and let's break this down. Oh, and by the way, if you want to become a hacker like John, check out the sponsor of this video, IT Pro TV. They have all the cybersecurity and IT training you need to get started on the path to becoming a hacker. So definitely check them out. They are what I use. I got a link below, and if you use code NetworkChuck, you get 30% off forever. Now back to John.
I always find like the idea of becoming a hacker or like talking about being a hacker to be kind of funny in general.
Getting hacked. Because yeah, even experts in cybersecurity can fall for hacks, and he almost did.
My name's John Hammond.
My Steam account got hacked once. I fell for that, and then it got locked, and then Steam wouldn't do anything about it, so I brute forced my own account and stole it back. This is a couple years ago.
I'm a security researcher by day, and at night when I can squeeze in a little bit of free time, I also create content on YouTube.
Awesome. And the reason we're talking today is because someone foolishly tried to hack a hacking YouTuber's YouTube. So
and to brute force it, this was back right when the last bear market actually, so it was pretty hilarious. I had a mining rig still, and I used a mining rig to brute force it.
Through the first moments here.
Okay, so if it's all right, I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. I gotta be honest, this happened yesterday. It was a Sunday, and I was out going for brunch with my friends, and my phone vibrated, and I got a notification, and I dropped down, hey, you know, scroll to check your notifications, and it was a Google Drive. It was an official Google notification that said, YouTube has shared a PDF file with you. I was like, that's weird. And it was a Google account, allegedly. And I thought, okay, that would normally kick off and send a natural Google Drive email. It gives you a notification and says a user has shared a folder or file or anything with you. So I thought, I'll go check my email before I go and open what this Google Drive file might be. So when I went to go take a look at my email, I had this in my inbox, an item shared with me, YouTube copyright report. And it's from google.com, right? It is a legitimate, hey, Google Drive service letting me know that the Google account had shared an item with me, YouTube copyright report. You might be able to notice right off bat, okay, email address certainly raises an eyebrow. That really loses its credibility right away. But the YouTube copyright report itself was a little, at least, intimidating to look at. This looks pretty official, the YouTube copyright infringement warning. Now, Chuck, I'm sure I don't have to tell you, as a content creator, a copyright strike is a little terrifying.
Yeah, terrifying.
It adds a little bit more concern, I think, for
So, I mean, yeah, like if you're a YouTuber that's worried about getting copyright stricken and so on, you may be more likely to be like, oh, and like jump on it real quick because you have that fear. I mean, a lot of these attacks and stuff like this, like especially when they're basically what it is a phishing email at the end of the day, sort of like it is going to basically, you know, attach to your fears. And the best fear, you know, of a YouTuber is going to be, or one of the top ones is going to be getting copyright strikes.
An innocent, unknowing victim, this could certainly be a concern. And hey, you want to read the full report and the document at the link below. If you don't read the report, you can't appeal whatever decision comes from this. So when I opened this thing up, I thought, all right, well, I don't really want to click this open full report button for real, but I would like to try and right click it and copy the link address and get an understanding of where is this thing going and what is it doing.
Now, real quick, before we jump there,
Yeah.
What do you think is different about this phishing attempt versus like normal run-of-the-mill phishing attempts?
This one caught me off guard because, when you swipe down to see your notifications, it looks like real Google. It looks like a Google Drive file. And you just, hey, at least in the big bold letters, YouTube or Google has shared an item with you, an official file, YouTube copyright report. That's not just an email that you get, oh, hey, here's a cutesy, please click my link. It had a little bit more pizzazz to it and certainly was a bit more believable going through legitimate official channels.
And I have to admit, I'm worried that I might just absentmindedly fall for it.
I think had I not gone to go double check the email itself.
I know, like, he's like, I might fall for it. And then I was thinking if I would fall for it, but I won't even click. I don't even click the stuff in my email as it is. So, like, for me, I'm like, like, I'm too lazy. Like, I would just go straight to my YouTube channel notifications and I would, like, pop open and see there. I feel like the way I would end up getting hacked would be, like, probably some sort of browser plugin that I end up installing. So a great example would probably be like a TubeBuddy or something, right? Where I install TubeBuddy and give it access to my channel to review like stats, or like the return of the dislike button. Something like that is probably where I would end up being, be getting in trouble. But like an email or a Google notification, like I don't have notifications on my phone either. So I don't have to worry about that either.
Had I just simply looked at the file with the Google Drive pop-up, I could very well have taken this more seriously and fallen for it. I think doing that extra due diligence, let me go see the legitimate email. That is where I had saw the address, because otherwise there were no signs that this was fake.
All right, so you got the email, and you knew by this time that just by the weird email that said where it was shared from that it was probably something fishy. And then now you have this link to download the copyright report.
So had I copied this link, I would have seen this URL, HTTPS next get report site with some random letters and strings here, and included a get parameter, HTTP get parameter that would have my legitimate email address here, where and how I received this original email. So, okay, I'm assuming this parameter is included for tracking's sake. Okay, they want to know that I am a legitimate victim. I am one that could fall for this and now could be added to whatever list if they do more attacks
I don't think,
these.
yeah,
but
as far as notifications on your phone, guys, like I don't think you should ever have notifications on your phone. I think you just turn them all off. One of the best things that I ever heard from someone too was to never set up your voicemail. Just don't set up your voicemail. Block all calls unless they come from like specifically like a friend or something like that, and then just live that way. I think that's bad. That is better, especially like after I worked in IT for many years, and it was like phone always on, always open to answer like 24/7 calls, and the amount of stress and stuff that causes is just absolutely insane. Like I'm pretty sure I'll go bald. I'm gonna have the widow's peak. You know what I mean? And that's probably going to happen all just from the few years in IT.
But let's go ahead and play with this link on its own. I tried to go access this in a little bit more of a safer sandbox. You might have seen me work through Tails Linux, one of those amnesia, hey, only ephemeral operating systems with Linux. And Unix works just as well. And funny enough, using and setting up this virtual machine was exactly the video that I allegedly had a copyright strike on.
I was about to point that out. That's pretty funny.
And then I thought, hey, let's slap it in and see if we can go to this website. It redirected me. I don't know if we were able to catch it just there, but the next .get report that I was at suddenly went to download with a different string and what would have been that HTTP parameter. Now the gimmick is that this didn't do anything else. Like if I view the source code, hit Control U on my keyboard, that's a blank line. There's nothing on the website. I thought that's weird. I don't know if there are some strange settings or some shenanigans where Tor just wasn't letting anything more happen. I could check out, hey, what happened from the network perspective. We'll move into the developer tools. So if I were to take a look at what these requests were doing from the network perspective, when I make the first request to next, that does some shenanigans. You can see my original request or response that came through, but ultimately the headers said, cool, you're good. But it ends up redirecting me over to that download get report site with what would have been my own email included. Ultimately, this doesn't go any further, but in a different browser, it has different functionality.
Now, why do you think that is? That it's not working through like your secure Unix Tor situation?
So malware strains can do a peculiar thing when they're waiting to receive a callback or connection like over HTTP, especially through the browser, right? It might be wanting to ensure I'm fooling or deceiving the legitimate victim who's probably using a modern web browser like Chrome or like Firefox, or hey, you're scrolling through your Android phone or your iPad. Something like Tor or a command line utility like curl. Okay, we'll ignore those requests and not proceed forward with them. It's checking your user agent.
Very clever. So they're trying to hide themselves from people like you.
Yep, can't have the security researchers come in and ruin all the fun. So I jumped into a different virtual machine at this point because, okay, if Tor wasn't cutting it for me, I guess I will go through a VPN, and I'll go ahead and try and download or see what came through on that website using the command line tool curl. Nothing came through. If I add some verbose debug information, still really nothing. But if I were to add a user agent, so if I were to run curl again following redirects with TACL, going ahead and adding a new user agent that might be a legitimate Chrome, I'd be able to go ahead and actually see the response from this is going to send me right to that download link. So if we wanted to get real fancy, let's just trust it. Let's just see it happen. And that actually ends up speeding me over to now Discord. When I actually went ahead and kind of shared some of the information on this, it gave me a Dropbox link, which you might be able to see in the Twitter thread. So things have changed already, even in just the time that we've
So now it's gone from Dropbox to
and that gave me a new file, copyright report.zip, which differs from what I had previously.
Thanks for the follow,
Let's see if
Mark.
it's the same file.
Yeah, let's do some live. And that's really clever. They put it on Discord as a hosted file there.
So just for our own sanity check, what I had to begin with is this YouTube copyright report.zip, which would extract to this copyright report. And that would give me a hefty file that was a screenshot file, but still a Windows binary executable. Let's go ahead and go take a look at that new Discord one. Looks like that was copyright report. There it is. I want to just double check that this is what it says it is. And it is a zip archive. Cool. So let's play with it. Copyright report, docx screenshot yet again. It may very well have just clobbered what I had previously. I don't know. Ooh. One of those has a space in it. The other one doesn't. Some detective work here.
This is fun.
So both of these are just flat Windows executables. Let's check if they are in fact the exact same file just by taking a look at the SHA-256 hash.
Yeah, nice.
These are massive files.
I like
you
these
might have
guys.
noticed, hey, that was like a 400 megabytes. And this one looks to be different. So maybe we'll have to do some due diligence and poke at this thing.
Interesting. Now, here it is. John actually sent me the malware. Now, I'm not going to open it. I'm too scared. But John does open it. John cracks these puppies open and sees how they work. So if you want to see that, go watch this video right here now. Before they get to your video, what was the end result? What are they trying to do? Were they trying to capture and get your YouTube credentials? What was the end game?
So if we had detonated that malware sample, if we let it run in a real environment, what it ends up kicking off is known as a malware family called the Redline Information Stealer. There's some cool research and other information out about it online, but really it tries to harvest credentials. It looks for saved browser sessions, logons, username and password, bundles that all up, and then kicks it off to home base or their HQ.
I mean, like, so a lot of that stuff, like,
my video's over. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe to John, because he's...
So, like, a lot of that stuff is obviously easily preventable by, like, not clicking phishing links and so on. But it's really cool to see these guys deep dive into that sort of thing. Another thing that's probably going to help you out, obviously, is going to be, like, hardware encoded MFA, multi-factor authentication, that you should definitely take a look at. Obviously, I like YubiKeys. They're some of my favorite. We have a YubiKey affiliate link, too, on our YouTube channel if you want to check it out. Second, TL Mining. Hello, welcome to stream. Hope you're doing good. And then, so as far as like the software packages, what it's trying to pull credentials and stuff, try to use some sort of password credential manager. There's a lot of debate between which ones you should use and shouldn't use, so I'm not going to get into it. I prefer from a security standpoint that you utilize one that is self-hosted. But also, technically, if you're doing a self-hosted password manager, there is definitely room for user error there, especially when you're trying to get it connected to something like your phone while you're going out around and about and setting up some sort of VPN to that. And then that's kind of the deal. Josh Hammond is the other
I received
guy
a notification
right here. So here's his YouTube channel as well. I'll share that to you guys because these guys are pretty awesome. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and subscribe to him too.
That YouTube video, and I thought, oh, I'll play with it later when I get home, back to my office, back to my desk. A Punix for anonymous Tor browsing, and the video link, what the heck this thing might do, what capabilities it has, looks like it could send a message, and I go ahead and do some quick research. Okay, what is that going to end up doing? You could find these imports just as easily within like IDA. You could do it within whatever debugger or disassembler affecting Firefox
so we saw him
or
when
Chrome
he did this.
or a legitimate thing other than curl or Tor. And as you can see, that actually included a redirect that responded and told me, hey, we're going to flag this file as malicious.
And then
looking
he's just
kind of
using
weird.
virus
There's
total.
attached right there, but this random file name .exe.zzu, a couple different vendors coming together and saying, hey, we've got something on this. Doesn't have a whole lot of intel, but something. What I wanted to do within VirusTotal and what I spend a spam of things that could be happening on your machine, what you want to end up doing, or again, adding whatever filters you might feel is appropriate, getting whatever fields contains or begins with or includes or less than, etc. At least Smart Screen did its job and saying, look, something might be weird here. For the sake of experimentation, for the sake of fun, let's go ahead and run this.
Okay.
Now you'll notice right away, we've got this popped up in our Process Explorer, and Procmon is flooded with events. I don't think I can make the text much larger here, so forgive me on that, but you will be able to see it's cutting through about 18,000 events right now, still doing its thing. It's doing a whole lot.
Dang, as soon as you run this, like none of your shit's
stuff.
going to work.
You don't get the greatest visibility with just Procmon alone, but you can at least get an idea, hey, what registry values are you peering into? Are you dropping any files? Are you loading anything suspicious, etc.? You can see it's actually loading some of the DLLs that it might end up using for the Win32 API functions that it calls. And again, with this, we can just sort of kind of guess, what might exactly it be doing, but there are obviously a whole lot of things that could happen through Procmon. I'll scroll through this for a while, and I'll just kind of get an idea, like, are there any immediately glaring or weird things that it tries to look at, explore, or do? Some peculiar things, maybe taking a look at AMSI, the anti-malware scan interface, one of the mechanisms that modern Windows versions use to check if, hey, you have bad code that might be running in a runtime environment, like PowerShell or JScript, etc. Taking a look at Windows Defender, trying to see, are there any security mitigations?
Yeah.
This goes on and on and on as it is desperately trying to call out back to this home address, but it can't because, hey, we've disabled the network interface, right? Scrolling way down to the absolute bottom.
So it's trying to reach out to this 6521195 and deliver all the information it's gathered. It's fun. For antivirus, you use Immunet. I haven't tried Immunet necessarily. Enterprise is always kind of the way to go if you can, but that can be hard. So, how's everybody doing in chat today? Is everybody doing good? What else should we look at? Is there anything else you'd like me to review? I think like a lot of the AV that gets pushed as far as like on the internet's not as good. A little better. I'm still noticing that I have I'm not thinking as clearly. Like there's things that used to like click. I'm not clicking yet. I'm not quite. I keep losing my track of my my train of thought here and there, which is kind of a little concerning. But other than that, pretty good. I literally had like 104-degree fever for like three days straight, and then like I couldn't move or nothing. It was real bad. I think it kind of effed with me.